You've got to act like the man before you are the man, and that's how you become the man. The truth is, a lot of people aren't a man of their word. They talk this big game, saying they're going to do all this, that, and the other, but they never actually stick to their word. Then the problem with this is you start to lose respect for yourself without even realizing it. Because, for example, let's say someone says they're going to go to the gym. They're going to start the gym, they're going to get a job, they're just going to sort their life out. And you give yourself a day, okay, yep, starting February next month, I'm going to sort my life out. February turns around, and most people, they just stick to their old habits because it's easy, it's all they know, it's comfortable. We're all probably, a victim of this, saying you're going to do something, but then you don't. But the problem is if you continuously do this, you don't actually respect yourself and you just let things slide because it's not new to you. But like with me and myself, if I'm talking about myself, I'm quite like I'm a disciplined person. Like there's like I don't want to try to put myself down. I'm a very disciplined person. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And you can't always operate 100%, but the truth is you can always give 100%. Whereas most people, they don't. And that's why they start to feel as if they don't have a purpose, but it's their fault because they're not even trying to find a purpose. Like they feel like as if somebody's got to give them a purpose, but you've got to go out and find your purpose. Everybody knows what their passions are. Like everyone has a passion, but nobody just sits indoors and does nothing. Like even when you're watching, TV, you could be watching the boxing or football, UFC, whatever it is. You're interested in something. For me personally, I was always like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know, I love going to the gym, but I don't want to be a PT or nothing. And then I sort of started to analyze my life. And I was like, okay, like I want to become the best version of myself. I have this idea and this picture in my head of who I want to become. Then I realized that that is my passion. My passion is just working hard and working towards the dream version of myself. And then that's when I sort of came across, I was like, well, I can just post on YouTube because sometimes I'll post these videos and they're as much for you as they are for me. Sometimes it is like I'm talking to myself. I have all of these thoughts, but some of the thoughts I don't elaborate on them. And then I set up the camera and I just start talking. I'm like, damn, like I needed that myself, and I can almost hold myself to my word as well. Because I say to you guys, oh, do this, do that. I've got to do it as well. Otherwise, it's just, I'm talking a big game. But yeah, if you are sort of like, you don't know what to do, I say this all the time, just grab a pen and paper and just write down what is the dream version of you doing? What do they look like? How do they go about their everyday life? And then you can begin to ask yourself, when you're doing things, and you all do things that, like subconsciously, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Say, for example, you're trying to lose weight and you're in the shop and you're like, oh, I'd love to buy this, buy that. You're like, well, would the dream version of myself be doing this? Probably not. And then again, is another thing to hold yourself to, because it always goes back to that same thing of like not being a man of your word. And that's when you begin to lose respect for yourself. And when you do that, the highest disrespect you can do to yourself is not be a man of your word. You say you're going to do something and you don't do it. It's just a disrespect to yourself. And it's not something that the dream version of you is probably doing. Because if it is, you know, mate, like, you gotta up your standards. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, well, I let that slide, so it don't really matter if I don't do that. Oh yeah, I didn't go on a run yesterday. I can't be bothered today, it's raining. So I'm just gonna miss a day. And then it just starts to gradually build, and that's when, a lot of young men, they feel as if they don't have a purpose, they feel depressed, they feel lost. But it's just the environment they're in, and the environments that they're putting themselves in every single day, even within their own mind. Because, like, it's true, like, what purpose does a man serve if he's just at home watching TV, playing, computer games? These can be things that you enjoy, but it shouldn't be your lifestyle. It should be a small part of your day. You can still feel as if you're lost if you're working as well. I had it. I was working a 9 to 5, fixing cars. I wasn't enjoying it, but it wasn't solely down to the job alone. It was my lifestyle. I was going to a job I didn't enjoy, coming home, watching TV, watching people live my dream life, and being like, oh, how are they doing it? How are they living that? How are they just going shopping on a random Wednesday afternoon? And I was sort of, I wanted that life, and I knew that I wanted to live that life. I didn't want to be living the same life I was living every single day right now. So I just took action. I was like, okay, like, if I continue to complain, nothing will change. It goes back to the saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. It's true. Very simple. Sounds a bit stupid, but it's true. Life really isn't all that difficult, to be honest. You can really, like, certain things, yeah, but for the most part of what we've got to do as everyday humans is really not that simple. You've just got to show up, work hard, work on your dreams, and that's it. You can just, what you want out of life. You probably thought about it, maybe not in, super big detail, but like, what you want to do with your life within the next 5 years. Everybody does. You just got to take action, write it down, and work towards it. Otherwise, you'll still be left with that same empty feeling, and nobody wants that.